What's going on, everybody? Welcome to After Prison Show, and today I want to talk to you guys about a very sensitive story that's in the news right now involving a guy by the name of Jussie Smollett. Now, this is a story that I was definitely on the fence about whether or not to even address this, but there's been a lot that's transpired throughout the course of this story first even becoming a story, up until the point where this guy now finds himself under arrest for a felony charge. For those of you who aren't familiar with this Jussie Smollett guy and who he is, this guy stars on a TV show called Empire, and Empire is a show that's about the music industry. Now, before I even get into everything that surrounds this guy's case, I want to give you guys a little bit of backstory about how I first became familiar with this Jussie Smollett guy and also this TV show Empire that first came out back when I was still serving the last couple of years on a 7-year prison sentence that I was serving myself. And I can remember vividly being locked up, seeing the advertisements for this show that was just getting ready to premiere back while I was locked up, and how everybody who I was locked up with and who I was surrounded by was super excited about this TV show. Boy, y'all see that Empire show that's about to come on TV? That joint look like it is like that. That joint look bountiful. That joint is thug life. I got to see that Empire. The music in there. I'm trying to go home and be a famous rapper myself. I got to watch Empire. And there was a lot of excitement and anticipation for this TV show that was back then just about to premiere. And when this show finally did premiere on TV, it was like walking into a Best Buy, into the electronics section. Wait a minute. Best Buy is nothing but an electronics section. But you know when you're in the TV section of like a Best Buy, a Target, a Walmart, and all the TVs look like they're on the same exact thing? And that is exactly what it was like walking into a housing unit when this TV show Empire premiered. Every single television was on this show. Actually, that's a lie as well. The AB dudes, they definitely were not watching Empire. But I was watching it. Me, my bunkie Kenny, aka Sunshine, oh, we was locked in. And this show was exactly as the advertisements advertised. Oh, it was like that. It was a good show. But usually is the case with everything that's good, there's going to be something about it that you don't like. And what that would end up being for most everybody, because as soon as this guy premiered on the show and everybody found out exactly the type of guy this dude was, oh, dudes just weren't feeling that. And the guy that I'm talking about is, in fact, this Jussie Smollett guy who played this gay singer on the show. And I will never forget when this guy and his character first came into play on the show, and everybody was sitting there watching this like, hey, yo, this something just don't tick right about this dude right here. I mean, I don't, what the, are you seeing this dude right here? He kind of off, ain't he? Kind of a little strange, ain't he? What? The man just kissed another, oh my God, I can't. I'm pretty sure it was in the first episode where that scene would take place where Jussie Smollett's character would end up kissing another man, and the entire housing unit was in an uproar. Oh my God, no, they didn't just show that. What the world, oh my God, oh yeah. What the world, oh my God. And I'd be lying here if I sat here and told you that I wasn't one of those type of prisoners who was in an uproar about this situation, which is crazy to think back and think about, because, you know, you will see gay dudes all the time while you're locked up. It is a part of prison life. It's a part of the world. And people have every right to live however they want to live. So there is nothing wrong with that at all, but it was just a crazy thing to think back on and to remember the reaction when Jussie Smollett's character first kissed that grown man on television, and that was just, it was kind of a really spicy scene, to be honest with you. And throughout the remainder of time that I would be locked up, I would continue to watch that TV show Empire. However, once getting released, I don't watch the show anymore. And it's crazy to think that that's a TV show that is still on to this very day. 3+ years later, that show is still having a lot of success. But unfortunately, this Jussie Smollett guy would find himself in the news, and this is something that just recently happened. And I'm gonna be completely honest with y'all. When I first saw this story break on the nightly evening news, world news, I was absolutely disgusted by this. Because the news was that this Jussie Smollett guy had been beaten up by 2 white guys wearing these red Make America Great hats on. And this was such a racially charged, horrible situation that again had me absolutely disgusted. Because I personally cannot stand anything dealing with any type of racist BS. You know, this world has so much negativity in it, and this story right here was just something else to fuel that fire. And I wasn't the only one who felt this. In fact, when this story first broke, there was an immense outpouring of support for this guy because of this horrible situation that he had just gone through. But as time would continue to pass, and it was as soon as only like a couple of days later there were a lot of sketchy details that started to surface about this entire story. And whether or not what this Jussie Smollett guy had actually claimed and reported had happened to him was actually true or not. There was this photo that had surfaced about these two alleged suspects that police were eager to speak to, who Jussie Smollett said, those are the guys right there. And it would end up that those two guys would be two Nigerian brothers who were actually extras on that TV show Empire. This Jussie Smollett guy would go on Good Morning America talking about all of this that had happened to him, talking about what these people said to him while they were attacking him. I mean, this was a very ugly, negative, horrible situation. But as it would appear right now, it seems that this guy has made all of this up because they actually have surveillance footage of those two Nigerian brothers going into a convenience store, buying those two red hats and also ski masks. And those brothers have actually claimed that this Jussie Smollett guy actually paid them and orchestrated this entire fake attack. And the first thing that I gotta say about all of this is I can't possibly fathom why anybody would do this. You know, you want to talk about some clout chasing or a cry for help or a cry for attention? I mean, these are about the lowest lengths that a person could stoop to in an effort to do something like that. Because, you know, there's also these other rumors that his character was getting written off of the show, so possibly that was the reason why he did this. But to make a false claim stating that you were racially attacked in a horrible, horrible situation, and then to even add so many details as that these guys were wearing two Make America Great hats, where this country is already so deeply divided, I mean, that is an absolutely despicable thing to do, no matter what your political view is. It's just absolutely crazy to me. And I found myself personally in a situation where at first I was so, affected by this, feeling so despicable about the situation from the very beginning, if it was true that this happened, to now feeling completely disgusted with this guy in particular. Why would you make something like this up? But regardless of all of that, this guy has just recently been arrested and charged with a felony under suspicion of filing a false police report. And supposedly this felony carries a max sentence of up to 3 years in prison. And it's with that I want to offer you guys my opinion as to whether or not this Jussie Smollett guy is going to end up going to prison. And if he did, what would he be like in prison? And the first thing that I want to say about all of that is I highly doubt that this guy is going to end up going to prison. Now, I'm not going to say that he's not going to end up serving some time. I mean, if he does get found guilty of this charge, there is a good possibility this dude could end up with something like 30, 60, maybe even 90 days that he would have to serve in a jail somewhere. And I don't know this for sure, but just giving this guy the benefit of the doubt, I doubt that he has any type of a criminal record whatsoever. And that usually plays a very heavy role whenever you're going to court facing a charge, especially a felony. If this is the first time that this Jussie Smollett is getting in trouble, then there's a very good chance that this guy is only going to end up with probation, a slap on the wrist, getting this charge reduced to some type of a misdemeanor. He is probably more than guaranteed to be walking into that courtroom with some type of a high-paid, high-powered lawyer in his corner as well. But one thing that I want to tell you guys, and one thing I want you to keep in mind is just because you've got a high-paid, powerful lawyer, and just because you've never had any kind of trouble in the past, with you going into a courtroom facing a felony charge, especially a charge of this caliber being so high profile, so blown up all over the news, everybody is talking about this particular case. There's no way at all that you can guarantee that this guy comes out of this situation unscathed. And there is a possibility, with the fact that this charge carries like from 1 to 3 years in prison, that this dude could, even though it might be a very seldom chance at all, end up with a prison sentence. And if that is the case and this dude does end up having to serve prison time, usually I try to offer what a certain person might be like in prison, whether we're talking about Bill Cosby, Tekashi, or any other type of celebrity. In this particular case, however, I honestly don't know. I honestly can't sit here and say that this guy's time is going to be easy because of the fact that he's a celebrity and people are going to want to be there to protect this guy. He'll probably have to pay for that protection, and that his time could potentially be a cakewalk. But on the flip side of the coin, this guy could be dealing with mental health problems. This guy could be volatile and a live wire, the type who would be ready to snap at the drop of a hat. He could potentially go into prison or even jail and make his situation a lot worse because he has no idea how to handle a situation like that. And it's thinking along those lines right there that if that is the type of dude this guy is, if he did end up having to serve time, he would probably request and ask, that he do his time in some sort of a single man cell, isolation, protective custody. There's one other thing that I want to mention in relation to this entire story, and that is how I feel this situation could potentially play out. Now, mind you, I could be completely wrong about this. This is only my own personal opinion and view, but I truly feel like with this guy getting ready to have to go through a court battle and procedure dealing with this felony charge, I can all but guarantee you it's going to come to light that this guy is dealing with depression and some sort of mental health problems, possibly even addiction. And even though I'm saying these things in sort of a cynical and sarcastic manner, the reason why I'm doing that is because I feel like these are outs. These are justifications for why this guy did this really bad thing. This guy's story and his celebrity status, he has actually used this to drive this wedge even farther between people. And I can't stand that. I can't stand when people try to yeast up a situation or falsify and fabricate something that ain't true at all just because of whatever reason. And if it is because of the fact that his character was getting ready to get written off the show and he was sad and depressed by that, so that's the reason he acted the way he did and he wasn't in the right frame of mind, forget all that. That's stupid. The story has had me mad from the very beginning when I was believing that this was really what had happened to this guy, and now feeling dumb for feeling like I got played like so many other people got played, believing that this was true and only to find out that it seems like it wasn't true at all. I got no idea how this situation is going to play out with this guy. He was just arrested for this felony charge of suspicion of filing a false police report. Guaranteed he's going to get bond. He's going to bond out. He's going to have that high-paid, high-powered lawyer right there in his corner. And there is a good chance that he's going to come away from this situation with nothing other than a slap on the wrist, possibly probation, or maybe some type of community service and a public apology. But like I also said, with the fact that this is such a high profile and sensitive story, there's no real way to tell or guarantee how this is going to play out when he does go to court for this. And so I guess all we're going to be able to do is just wait and see. Hey, look, that's it. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and if you did so, please leave a like and a comment letting me know exactly what y'all think about this story. As always, until next time, enjoy life, the free world. Promote some positivity instead of some negativity. Never take a moment for granted and make the most of every day. Peace!